Welcome back to the Fierce Feminine channel. I know it's been a couple of weeks. Bear with your girl. It's been hectic to say the least. And I'll tell you in a moment why it's been hectic actually. Before we get into it though, today we're going to be talking four reasons why you stay stuck in a job you don't care about and how to free yourself. Yes, girl. That's what we're going to be talking about. Oh my God. Honestly, I have to say, do you know, I'm getting distracted. I'm looking at myself here when I should be looking at myself over there. I feel out of practice, if I'm going to be honest with you, because it's been a couple of weeks since I recorded a podcast episode. But I did miss you guys. And I was away for a good reason. I basically set up, this will be beneficial to you guys actually. I set up this event. So it's a free event. Yes, I said free event, and it essentially helps build heightened confidence, or at least get you to start experiencing the joy and freedom of the life you want, of the life you wish for, career wise, personally as well. So it's been for good cause that I've been away. If you're curious to find out, if you're a woman who's experiencing doubt or insecurities, and you're like, "Oh, you know what, I'm fed up, I want to break free and I want to start living my best life," then click the link in the description below and it will take you to the nearest event. So there is an event coming up on the 18th of March. But if you missed that, you can still click the registration link and it will take you to the nearest event that's coming up, which, like I said, it's completely free. It's called the Fierce Feminine Challenge, and it spans over 5 days, and it's got lots of amazing goodness, insights, tasks, activities that you get to participate in to help you be your confident self, help you start to build that discipline and willpower to have the life you want, but in the most loving and caring way that also helps you look after your well-being. So be sure to check it out. And honestly, let's just get into it, because like I said, I missed you guys. It's been a while. I'm going to not get distracted by my by my view, and I will look into your eyes, your big eyes, while I speak to you. So today, like I said, and you can see from the title, we are talking four reasons why you are stuck in a job you don't care about, and honestly, why you gonna stay stuck if you don't do anything about it. But we're also going to touch on what you can do to break free. So hopefully you take on the recommendations and you get away from that job you don't like. Because honestly, like, I was having this conversation the other day with someone, like, we all act like time is promised to us. We all know the one fact of life is that we're all born, well, the two facts of life: we were all born into this world and we will leave this world one day. Oh yes, like, we don't like to talk about death, but death is inevitable. And I'm not saying that to bring you down, but I'm saying it to just remind you, because the way some people move, like, their lives are never going to end. And I'm like, you need to get a move on. Like, you can't keep saying, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll start that life tomorrow, I'll start that business tomorrow, I'll start that job tomorrow. Like, tomorrow where? Tomorrow doesn't even exist, really. Tomorrow is an illusion that we've told ourselves exists. So if you're someone who, like, your job's all right, it's decent, like, it gives you money, you can go on holidays, but you can't stand that job, like, you are just so fed up. And half the times, you know what, like, you, of course you've got good days, because if you didn't have good days, you would have left that job. If the environment was super toxic, you would have jumped ship by now. So it's not necessarily that the job is unbearable, but you could be doing better. Like, you could have more time to do things you love. You could be potentially earning more money, you know that it's ridiculous the fact that you're having to give so much of your time to this job and less of your time to people you love, less of your time to traveling, less of your time to just chilling, man. What happened to soft life? What happened to just like being healthy? What happened to being able to exercise? What happened to being able to eat right? But you find that because this job is stressing you out, because you have deadlines, because you're having to just even wake up every day and like drag yourself into this place that isn't your favorite place to be with people who aren't your favorite people to be around. Because you're having to do all of this, it's taking you from time you can be spending being more creative, time you can spend on exercising more, time you can spend on going on a nice spa day, like just time you could be spending brunching with friends or just chilling. Honestly, like I think what used to really frustrate me about my 9 to 5 is there were days where I just wanted to chill. I just wanted to take a duvet day. And I know there's some companies that give you duvet day, but good luck because for the most part, not every company does that. And one thing I really hated the most of my about my 9 to 5 was that because actually one of my core values is freedom and I love autonomy. And yes, actually, honestly, for the most part, I managed to get to a stage in my career where I was awarded a lot of autonomy in terms of the things I did and in terms of kind of mapping out my day. But I did, for the most part, still feel a bit restrictive, just working in a 9 to 5, working in corporate world, and just having that like regimented set. Oh, I must go to work Monday to Friday night. I don't even know why we call it 9 to 5 because it's normally more like 7 to 6 or 7 to 7 for some people. But there's just something about the regimentation of having to go Monday to Friday every week um that really rubbed me up the wrong way. And yes, of course you get holidays, but even with that, like I used to hate the fact that I'd put forward my holiday request to my manager and felt like they would do me a favor giving me that holiday and having to explain why my holiday needed to be on this day instead of that day. It's like, dude, I'm a grown woman. I'm gonna go on holiday when I want to go on holiday. Like, why am I having to explain to my manager because that I need to go on holiday from this to this? Because like I'm going on holiday on those days because I want to go on holiday on those days. Like, it's none of your business, mate. And even also, like, I mean, I know this is not for every company, but the other thing that used to frustrate me was like my manager relying on me to find cover for my holiday. And it's like, that sounds like a you problem, but we all know that lots of companies and lots of managers do this, right? When you want to go on holiday, they almost act like, how dare you go on holiday? Like, make sure your work is covered. Or half the time, like, I put a very detailed, honestly, a very well thought out handover document when I'd go on like a 2 week holiday, only to come back and find out like nobody touched anything in my handover document. I still had to come back. Okay, no, fair play. I do have to say, because I'm like, oh my God, imagine if my ex colleagues are listening to this and going like, girl, I helped you out. For the on the odd occasion, I just remember like when I had like a HR advisor reported into me, she would cover my work for the most part where she could. And if it's something that was a lot more complicated, then obviously she'd leave that for when I came back from my holiday. So for that part, that was helpful. But honestly, for the most part, half the time when I'd create this detailed handover document for my manager would never even look at it. And then I'd come back from my holiday and have to catch up on the 2 weeks anyway because nobody covered my work. So that was like one of my biggest bugbears in the 9 to 5, just that like how restricted it felt when I was like, I didn't feel like my time belonged to me. Like I didn't feel like I earned that holiday. Well, actually, I knew damn right I earned this holiday because I worked so hard. But it's just that, like, what's it called? That friction I'd get from my manager when I'd want to go on holiday. And it's like, dude, I'm a grown woman. I can go on holiday. Like, just because I'm an employee of this company doesn't mean my soul belongs to this company. But honestly, in a way, I feel like working in corporate world, my soul it felt like my soul belonged to the company, and yes, the pay was good, but when certain things the company would do, when certain things leadership would recommend and suggest, like, they didn't sit right with me and my personal values, and it would just really rub me up the wrong way, and it would just make me feel so uncomfortable. Like, am I really going to do this for the next 30 years of my life? And I bet you, if you're in your 30s as well, you're probably thinking the same, except you're already in like this amazing, impactful job where you just feel so fulfilled and you just love it and it nourishes you and it fills up your cup and it fills you with energy instead of draining you at the end of the day. Like, unless you have that like situation, and honestly, like, I'm kind of jealous of you if you have that. But for the most part, if you're not in that scenario, then you're going to probably, if you're already in your 30s, you're already waking up to the fact, like, oh my God, am I literally going to have to do this for the next 30 years? Have I literally trapped myself in this job because I'm trying to retire in 30 years, and the only way I can retire in 30 years is if I carry on doing this job that I know so well, like the back of my hand now. I can do it in my sleep. So I'm actually already even bored. I lack mental stimulation, and I actually get really frustrated when other people don't seem to understand what's going on because I can do this in my sleep. Like, you wake up in your 30s, even late 20s. I remember I started to feel this in my late 20s, like when I had that realization, like, are you kidding me? Am I going to have to do this considerably for the rest of my life? Like, I was like, I remember, like, that made me feel like, oh dear God, like, what have I signed up for? And honestly, even people who had the feeling like I described, where they do love their job and they do feel fulfilled and they do enjoy what they do. Like, I feel like even if you have been working in that career for the odd 10, 20 years, like, you would still have, well, not 20, if you're in your 30s, then you wouldn't have been working there for 20 years. You'd be working there for about 10 years, maybe 12 years. um but I feel like even if you do enjoy your job, there is a part of you that can't help but think, like, "Ah, like, is this really it? Like, is there more to life, or is this legit just like all I'm going to have to look forward to, like the couple of holidays here and there, the couple of brunches and weekends with friends, but for the most part, this is literally going to be my life for the next how many odd years?" Like, I don't know about you, but that thought is scary. And if you've experienced that, if you, even I'm feeling claustrophobic now just talking about it, when I'm remembering all those thoughts that used to come to my head. And even times when I did enjoy my job, I still used to feel like, but I feel like I've got more potential inside of me. And I feel like I could be doing more in life than what I'm currently doing. So if any of that sounded like you, then here are four reasons why you are basically trapped in a job that you don't care about. So, reason number one, honestly, is a very obvious reason. Reason number one is because that's how it's always been. That's what society told you it should be like, right? You get a job. Like, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I was raised to take pride in getting a job and staying in that same job and retiring in that job. And even actually, like, our parents' generation, this is where I show my age. For our parents' generation, they were rewarded for loyalty. Like, for them, that was literally the goal. That was the aim in life. Like, just Once you graduate from uni, get that job. And once you get that job, stick at it. They're going to promote you. They're going to reward you for your loyalty. You're going to have a good pension to walk away with when you retire. So, one of the reasons that you are trapped in a job you don't care about or you don't necessarily enjoy is because you were told that that's how it's supposed to be. You were raised to believe, you were brought up to believe that that's what you should strive for. So, now I'm telling you that what are you going to do about it? Like, now you know that you don't necessarily enjoy this job. Like, the first step is just understanding, like, yes, you've been brought up to feel like that's what you should strive for. Yes, you've been brought up to believe that that is the version of success that makes the most sense. But we all know that times have changed. Like, things are very different to when our parents grew up. Like, of course, our parents wanted the best for us. They thought they were doing the right thing when they were raising us with these philosophies. But now we know, like, there's online business now. There's even the internet, which our parents didn't have the internet, right? It was the millennials that started to grow up with the internet. And even when us millennials were introduced to the internet, like, we still didn't even know the possibilities of the internet. Like, starting your own online business was never a thing. Owning your own Etsy shop was never a thing. Becoming a freaking YouTuber was never a thing. Like, it was our generation, right? Us millennials that started to realize the possibilities of the internet and how much more exposure. But honestly, understand, if you're in a traditional job, if you're in hospitality, retail, corporate, professional services, then understand that you spend, for the most part of your life, about 30 something, 40 something years of your life thinking that the job you currently have or the industry you're currently in was one of the pillars to aim for, was one of the success pillars to aim for, and was one of really the only options of being a responsible adult that had a decent career. But now there's more opportunities. And yes, you may have been brought up with that philosophy, but now that you're grown, and I had to understand this myself as well, because guys, I'll be honest and I'll put my hand up and confess that for a while, I used to be in this state where I just be like, oh, my parents, man, like, why didn't they like encourage my creativity? Or why didn't they encourage my this or my that? Like, maybe I could have been like a celebrity. Probably not, honestly. But I used to say that maybe I could have been a famous author. My mom used to call me professor growing up. Like, I'm like, why didn't they nurture my creative talents? And I was stuck in that space of just like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do this? I blame my parents. I blame my parents. And then I heard a voice. There was this voice inside my head that was like, girl, how old are you? I was like, I think this is 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I was like, I'm 32. And the voice was like, okay, yeah, your parents. Like, yes, there is an argument that if your parents nurtured certain talents, you could have been in a different position now. You don't have to be in corporate world. You don't have to be stuck in corporate world. But like, you're 32 now. You're an adult. Like, what is stopping you creating your own version of success? Like, why are you still stuck on that? Oh, yeah, but I've always been told that this was the industry to go into, this was the career to create. Yes, to a certain extent, that could have been your story, but you're a grown woman, you're an adult now. Like, you can just recreate your own version of success. You can just try and map out like new possibilities and new potential opportunities that feel more aligned with your deep down talents and your natural talents you have. So if you're feeling trapped or feeling stuck in a job you don't necessarily enjoy, first reason you're still there is because society told you that that was what success looked like. But now, to get you out of there, you just need to ask yourself, what is possible, like what are new opportunities I could go into. And that actually leads to the second point, why a lot of people are still feeling stuck, or are going to remain stuck in jobs they don't like, is that they are unclear on what it is they want. So you know what you don't want, but you don't really know what you do want. And what I mean by that, because you might be thinking like, what's she talking about? But I did find out with some clients that I talked to, where they're fed up of their job. Some of them, for the most part, they've actually enjoyed that career, but they've been doing it for 15 years. They've been doing it going on 20 years, and they're like, "Oh, I just can't see myself doing this for 20 more years. Like, what do I do about it?" And when we start to really get into like, okay, so there is a part of your subconscious that's just convinced that this is the only way. Um, but the second part is just like, well, I've gone this far, I might as well keep going. And once we start to remove ourselves from that mindset, the second layer is then that uncertainty. Like, okay, I've been complaining about this career and I'm fed up of this career, but have I really started to map out what it is I truly want? Very often, for the most part, I would say that women normally have this like, oh, well, I did always dream about like starting my own bakery, or like I did always dream about owning my own wellness retreat, or I did always dream about like writing a book. And I'm like, ah, so it was always there. Like you always had that hidden idea, but you've never actually taken it further, which is why you're trapped. But on the other hand, there are some women who, yes, they may have they may have that hidden desire, but it's not as prominent as in some people. Like there's some people, I know this girl who like right from when we were young, she always knew she wanted to be an actress, and she stuck to it, and she actually she is an actress now. But even like me, for example, it's not like I spent all of my childhood going like, I'm gonna start a podcast, right? That is called the Fierce Feminine Rising, and I'm gonna talk about growth and development for women, and I'm gonna help women live their best life. I'm gonna help women be their most confident self. Like, no, I'll be lying to you if I say the 5-year-old Aura was like having these dreams of always being this transformational coach that helps women with their self mastery or helps women with their confidence. Like, that was never my dream, right? So I may have had ideas. What did I want to be? I think I used to say I wanted to be a scientist actually when I was younger. So for some people it may be very clear cut, but for some others, why they're still stuck in jobs they don't like is because they know they want to be doing something different, but they're just not fully certain. Guys, it's been a while, I need to like get back into the groove. But yes, but for some, why you are still trapped in a job you don't like is because you're just uncertain of what you can go for, what is possible for you. So what you want to do is just brainstorm ideas, like write down every idea, even if it might sound silly to you. Look back on your past, look back on your childhood dreams, and just start to write out like what are the things I thought I would potentially be growing up, and like what do I enjoy, what do I not enjoy, and what are my hobbies, what are the things that I would do for free, like literally if no one was paying me I'd do that for free. What are things that people tell me I'm good at? Because very often actually my friends used to be like, you're very good at giving advice, you're very good at giving suggestions, you're very good at, and I'm like, yeah, I know, it's just such a heavy burden, being able to give all these good advice. So listen to what people tell you you're good at. Also think back on like ideas you may have had growing up, and then also explore as well, like Google what are possibilities out there, what are potential job opportunities out there, for people who are good at creative writing, what are potential jobs out there for people who are good at public speaking, what are potential jobs out there for people who love painting. Like just do that and help yourself start to open up and warm up to the idea that there are other possibilities out there, and that will help you get more certain and get clearer, and that will pull you out of that job you don't really like, or at least get you started to remove yourself from that environment so you can tap into your hidden potential. And then the reason number three is, it's actually related to reason number two. So there's this, and number one is related to reason number two and reason number one. But the third reason why you are feeling trapped in a job you don't care about, I'm gonna have to say it, and I'm gonna have to keep it real with you, is because you probably question if you're gonna fail, right? You're like, okay, is it silly that I wanted to write a children's book? Is it silly that I want to be a children's author? Is it silly that I want to open my own wellbeing retreat? And that sounds like a hard work. It sounds like a lot of work. Imagine if I do it and then I actually fail. Like, that would be embarrassing, number one. But number two, that would have been a waste of my time, because I could have just stayed in my 9 to 5 and just been happy with where I was, because after all, I was on a decent salary anyway. So the third reason why you are trapped in a job you don't have is because you are scared. You are scared that you could potentially fail. You're scared that you could actually go for what it is you truly want, and nobody's gonna love it. It's like, what if I write this book and no one reads it? What if I set up this business? I did that. What if I set up this business and no one wants coaching? No, people tell me like they don't want to live their best lives. They don't need confidence. They're already confident enough. They're not scared. They don't need help with embracing their fears. I'm like, what am I gonna do then? So one of the reason number three, that you are still trapped in a job you don't enjoy, and will remain trapped if you don't start to do something about it, is that you fear you might fail, which that's perfectly natural to feel that way. And feeling that way is one thing, but doing something about it is another thing, right? It's one thing to feel fear and let the fear get the best of you and you don't do anything about it. It's another thing when you have that recognition and then you reach out to a coach like me and someone who can support you and help you embrace your fears in a healthier way. And speaking of that, really quickly, just to remind you, the 5-day Fierce Feminine Challenge, there's the registration below. It's a new event I started. I ran the first one in February. I had how many signups? I think it was like 47, I want to say, people sign up, and around 30 people, because there's normally people who drop out through the process. Around 30 people joined the Facebook group, and it was so fun. I really enjoyed it. And there is a session coming up on the 18th of March. So look out for it. If the registration is in the description box. And going forward, I will host more of these events. They're free events. And essentially, the event gets you to start to let go of your doubts and insecurities and start to experience the freedom and joy of having the life you dream of by um building your heightened confidence, and also just building the discipline and efficiencies, or the effective ways to ensure you stay consistent with your goals. So be sure to check out the 5-day Fierce Feminine Challenge. If you're ready to step into your inner goddess, or if you're ready just to have like a life that flows more easily, and if you're ready to start to protect your energy and have better work-life balance, have your professional life that actually fits quite well into your personal life, as opposed to the other way around. Because at the moment, I feel like what we do is we have our career, then we try and shoehorn our personal life into our career, which I find crazy. Life is promised to no one. Life is short, right? Why am I trying to shoehorn my personal? It's called personal for a reason. Why am I trying to shoehorn my personal life and my well being, my state of mind, my emotional state, my actual physical health? Why am I trying to shoehorn that into my career? A career that belongs to somebody else. Very often, when you have a career, that's tied to someone else's purpose, someone else's dream. Why am I trying to shoehorn my own personal life into their life, into my professional life? It should be the other way around, girl. It should be it's not even about having making it the other way around, but it's just about having more balance, creating more balance in your life. Like, your life is your life, right? You should be doing more of your personal life. I believe like we should be dedicating more of our time to our personal life than our professional lives. That's my own personal philosophy, if I'm being honest with you. But let's not get into that. I'll just throw that there, right? Just bear that in mind and sign up for the event if that sounds like something that could be of interest to you. And we're going to then talk about the last. I have to remind myself, I'm looking at it down like, girl, what was the last reason? I wrote it down. I'm just trying to remember. So we've spoken about, what did we speak about? We spoke about, because that's been your reality and that's what you've been taught is the best way for success, or is the only options to be a responsible adult. The second one is that you're uncertain, so you just need to get clear. The third one is the fear. So yeah, it's just that fear of like, what if you fail? What if you try it and you fail? And the next one is kind of related to reason number three, is, do I want to say it? I don't come for me, don't shoot the messenger, but I feel like I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't share this final reason, but I feel like it might hurt you if you hear it. But reason number four is you likely lack discipline. What? Okay, again, no, I can feel people like going like, oh my God, please don't throw tomatoes. If you throw tomatoes, it's going to be at your laptop, not my actual face. But if you see me in real life, don't throw anything at me. And don't come for me. I'm only the messenger, but I'm telling you now, one of the fourth reasons you are trapped or feeling stuck in a job you don't like is because you lack the discipline. And I'm sure there's so many amazing, ambitious women out there listening to this episode thinking like, oh, hell no, she did not just say I lack discipline. Like, I work so hard and I put in so much effort to build my career. Yes, girl, if you work so hard and put in so much effort to build your career, why don't you work that hard and put in that much effort, discipline, and willpower to realize your dreams, realize your potentials? Like, it drives me up the wall, the amount of amazing women that put in so much time and effort and consistency into careers, right? They've built this career to a certain space that they wanted it to be. And for a while, that may have been their dream. But now they have a new dream. They have a new dream to start a wellness center. They have a new dream to completely pivot into a new career. But they're like, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I don't know if it's for me. Oh, like, I'm just so tired. Oh, I'm just so exhausted. Like, girl, the same time, effort, energy, love, attention you poured into getting you to where you are now with that career, like, why wouldn't you want to give that to yourself? Why wouldn't you want to gift that to your future self? Like, why wouldn't you want the version of you in 10 years time to be thanking your present self and saying, thank you so much for writing that book. It was our dream and we made it a reality. Thank you so much for starting that animal shelter. It was our dream and you made it a reality. Thank you so much for building that impactful business. Thank you so much for starting that retreat that you always wanted to do. Thank you so much. Like, literally, your dream. I hear women tell me, oh, like, I just lack the discipline for to go exercise. I just lack the discipline to stay on track with my goals for my business. Like, girl, yes, it can be challenging to realize the life you want. Yes, it can be challenging to realize the dreams you want. But like, who better deserves your time, dedication, commitment, and energy than yourself? Like, I see so many amazing women giving so much energy and effort into companies that don't even care about them. Yeah, I said it. Companies who don't even care about you, right? They care about the profits you bring them. They care about you adding to their bottom line, and they care about the success and you making their company look good. But do they genuinely care about you? No, they don't. So why are you putting all that time, energy into them when you could be putting it into looking after your fitness and getting healthier, when you could be putting it into making yourself more energetic, when you could be putting it into something impactful, when you could be putting it into gifting yourself your dream? And not only gifting yourself your dream, because very often these women I talk to, they have just these amazing, beautiful ideas that will end up benefiting society. It won't just benefit them. Very often, like, I don't know if it's coincidental, but a lot of women who come my way are people who are wanting to be of service to their community. They're wanting to provide something actually very powerful to society. Like, it's always very often, I want to start a wellness retreat. I want to, like, I've spoken to so many women that have so many amazing ideas that aren't just supportive of their dreams in terms of, like, yes, it will give them more abundance, yes, it will give them more flexibility over their time, more control over their time. But very often these dreams and ideas they have that they are sitting on because they feel like, oh, I haven't got the time, like, I'm just so exhausted, I haven't got the willpower, I haven't got the motivation, I haven't got the discipline. The ideas they're sitting on very often can benefit society, can benefit the community, can make the lives of people a lot better. Like, there is not one selfish idea I've heard from a lot of women I've spoken to who have very, like, hidden dreams and hidden talents. And I go, well, why haven't you done this? Oh, I just haven't got the time. I'm just so busy. I don't have work-life balance. But meanwhile, they're giving all their energy and their time, and they're giving all their commitment and dedication to these jobs that they don't even care about anymore, right? They're giving all their time and energy to these jobs, but they don't give their time and energy to what they truly care about. So if that sounded like you, then that's reason number 4 why you are still stuck in a job you don't care about, and why you will continue to be stuck in that job for the next 20 to 40 years if you don't start to pay attention to your desires, if you don't start to face and embrace your fears, if you don't start to build that heightened confidence, and most importantly, if you don't start to build that discipline and willpower to keep you on track with your goals. You might come across this episode in 10 years' time, be it on YouTube, be it on, I was going to say Snapchat, it's not Snapchat, be it on Spotify or Apple. And you're going to be like, I remember 10 years ago when I heard this episode and it resonated with me, but then I did nothing about it. And now, 10 years later, I'm still exactly where I was. So, like Ora said, you are still stuck. So, we need to get you unstuck. I'm going to leave it there, right? But definitely follow. Oh, did I give you how to get unstuck for the reason number 4, lacking discipline? Oh, yeah. So you need, I didn't. I was just like, you're probably like, oh, wait, don't go. So reason number 4, if you want to get yourself unstuck and you lack the discipline, you have to first make that commitment to your dreams and then start to figure out the steps you need to make it happen. That's the first step to building discipline, right? Make that commitment, make the conscious choice. Like, okay, now what is this worth to me? I realize how much it's worth to me. I realize that in 10 years' time, I want to actually have fulfilled what I said. I realize in 20 years' time, I want to have fulfilled what I said. And I took the steps to make it happen, which, spoiler alert, one step you could take is sign up for the Fierce Feminine Challenge. Link in the description. We can get started and we can literally, like, get you to start to hone in your focus, time, and energy. Get you clear as well. That's the first step. Get you clear on what it is you're aiming for. And then, secondly, get you to start to hone in your time, focus, and energy in a healthier, more sustainable way to ensure that you can guarantee the life you want. You can ensure that you actually start to step into the life that you know you dream of and is possible, where your potential is shining through and you're actually gifting the community, you're gifting the world with your service, and you're also reaping the rewards of that. So I'm going to leave it there. Be sure to check out the link in the description box for the next Fierce Feminine Challenge. And I will speak to you soon. Happy, what do I want to say? Happy Mother's Day. So by the time you listen to this, Mother's Day will have passed in the UK. I do have a special episode that I have planned, but I just haven't had time to record it. I'm going to reach out to the woman one more time because I really want to record that episode to her. It's all about motherhood. So I will I'll try and share it with you before the end of March. Fingers crossed. If I have time, I'll try and record it and share it with you before the end of March. But also, happy belated International Women's Day as well, because International Women's Day is actually today, on the day I'm recording it. But by the time you watch this, it would have passed. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking because my mouth is hurting now and I'm thirsty and I want to drink water. But I will catch you guys soon. Take care. Oh, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.